Hi guys, welcome back. It's Tommy with another StarCraft 2 Remastered replay cast. As once again we have a very interesting international gameplay in between the two pro players. So let me just start by introducing them to you as we have spawning here in the lower left in the blue. It is Maru from South Korea, one of the best, if not the best Terran player in the world. And his opponent spawning here in the upper right, in the red, it is REYNOR from Italy, also very known and quite a strong and talented Zerg player. So yeah, Europe versus South Korea, Europe versus Asia, it is once again Italy versus South Korea. Very interesting matchup as the spawning here on Data C, an ASL map. And we already see REYNOR scouting the map, of course, just in case there are some proxy barracks, but no such thing out of Maru, as it looks like he's playing very normally here with a supply depot, and he should follow up with his barracks unless he's going straight for a fast expansion. So quite a risky gameplay here, quite a risky strategy here by Maru, going into a very nice economic greedy gameplay here by him, going straight for a fast expansion, and now he should of course follow up with his barracks. So this is risky, of course, in case REYNOR goes for a fast spawning pool. Maru might be in trouble early on, but as you can see on the minimap, REYNOR also deciding to go for a fast expansion as he's continuing here with his gas and spawning pool. So Maru's expansion should be right. He might continue with a wall of, with a bunker with some supply depots into this location, as the ramp will of course allow it. So yeah, we also see the overlord coming very close by very soon. REYNOR should know that it is indeed a fast expansion build order here by by Maru. Following up with the barracks, it might continue with a 1-1-1 build order factory into starport. And let's just check REYNOR. So REYNOR thinking now that there are no Reapers coming towards his way, the first Queens are getting produced, should of course know that it is indeed a fast expansion build order, and this overlord will confirm this for him very soon. As we also close towards the 2-minute and 40-second mark, we might see REYNOR indeed go for his second expansion. We also see the production tab here in the upper left part, just in case I'm missing something. And we also see speed now getting upgraded for the Zerglings. So REYNOR might try an early attack versus his opponent. There's the factory. You can also see from the timer it's quite a long replay. And actually it's double factory, hold on a minute. So Maru with a quite interesting strategy, hiding those two factories, but the overlord will scout this eventually. And yeah, it looks like it might be a transition into mech for Maru, which is quite rare, as most Terrans really like to go to bio versus their opponent with the Marines, with the Medivacs. And yeah, we also see the much needed starport. So in comes the first Zergling, sees of course the expansion, and this overlord of course will be very important here for REYNOR, as it will scout the factory here for Maru, and we see some Hellions getting produced by him. We also see the expansion that has been placed here by REYNOR. REYNOR of course interconnecting now the creep. So the pretty standard build order here for any Zerg versus the Terran. Tier 2 not yet going up, so still staying on Zerglings. It might be Zerglings with Banelings for REYNOR versus his opponent, and his overlord is still into this location. Now finally he is coming through. He should see that the upgrade are going out here onto the tech lab and double Hellion. So it might be Maru being aggressive early on with the blue flamed. He might go straight for the economy from his opponent. And yeah, there are the Hellions already patrolling here the nearby location for the expansion. And yeah, the overlord will of course in the end be snapped. There is a vulture, there is a marine on the ground attacking here. So Maru taking the initiative here. He's going to try to very likely attack this location right here, but a nice wall of getting created here by REYNOR, as he's going for Roach Warrant. So he really wants to counter the mech, early mech strategy here for Maru, as Roaches it is going to be here for him. At the same time, Maru patrolling the map with some Vikings. He's going to very likely try to snap some overlords in the air, as the wall of has pretty much been completed here by him. So it's a 2-base Terran versus a 3-base Zerg, as the Terran might of course try to place another expansion into this location and then upload it into the newly established base location. And yeah, let's see if Maru is going to be successful here with his Hellions. towards the expansion points from REYNOR, as REYNOR is moving out with some Zerglings. It can be very hard for him, actually pretty much impossible to attack versus so many Hellions into this location. But hold on, actually we have a strong reaction here by Maru. He's moving forward with his medivacs and he's actually going for Hellbats. So Hellbats it is going to be here for him as they're getting healed, but the medivac is pretty low on HP. One queen might get sniped. He could target of course the medivac. In come the roaches, so REYNOR should be fine here. At the same time another attack happening here, but the wall of is pretty much being completed. Only 2 drones have been sniped and REYNOR looking very strong. He did lose however 2 queens. The medivac might have getting sniped, and now in comes the reaction from REYNOR with those Zerglings. And sadly here for Maru, he left the door open, so some SCVs will fall. The Hellions will have to come back, so quite a mistake here by him, and even now he's blocking his entrance. So Maru with some mistakes, but the blue flame Hellions will eventually take care of this. However, 6 SCVs have fallen. Actually 8 SCVs, so more units are getting slapped. A small mistake here by Maru that has cost him 8 SCVs. And yeah, quite a great early game by REYNOR as he's now moving forward with the roaches. You actually see how much less damage they take out of the blue flame Hellion. So roaches of course a perfect counter towards those Hellions on the ground, and more is to come as the queens are just pretty much expanding the creep, and REYNOR is also taking this expansion into this location. So quite a good early game by him. The harassment here by Maru didn't really inflict any damage towards the economy, and REYNOR even affording some spores to counter the attacks by the medivacs. Let's see what those blue Hellions will do here, but yeah, REYNOR very smart, blocking the entrance here, not allowing the Hellions to move forward. Very smart gameplay here by the Italian player, and the early harassment here by Maru is not really working out for him. He is going for more upgrades and he should be building another expansion as he's going now for some barracks. Yeah, REYNOR very soon is going to have 4 bases versus the only 2 bases here for the Terran, so the Terran pretty much has to react. He has to go for another expansion, and there it is, very close by, as Stimback has also been finished here. So a very nice macro game indeed we have, as very soon we will pass, or actually we will reach the 10-minute mark. Some drones are falling here as once again Maru comes forward with some Widow Mines this time, taking out 2 drones. So a good harassment by him, but yeah, in the end REYNOR not losing so many workers, as his worker count is already at 84 here. So very nice macro and very nice economic game here by REYNOR versus the opponent. In comes the medivac just to scout a little bit more, and yeah, let's see what the next steps are going to be, what the next tier 2 units are going to be here, as Maru looking like he's pretty much going to defend here his expansion very well with the tank, and still patrolling the map, still trying to inflict some damage, but of course very hard versus so many roaches on the ground. And let's have a look what's going to happen here. So Maru transitioning into some tanks. Of course the tanks very strong versus the roaches, but in comes a great push, a great timing push here by REYNOR. Is it going to be enough? However, there's so many tanks here on the ground, and the in comes REYNOR with his forces. SCV have to be pulled, actually SCVs in the front, so Maru is going to take quite some damage. The tanks are nicely shooting here versus the roaches. More damage is being taken. Maru holds his ground, he has to fight Hellbats on the ground, but REYNOR pretty much throwing everything he has forward towards him as more damage is being taken out of the Marines and so on. And yeah, in the end Maru did hold, but at what cost? 22 SCVs have fallen for him, and the tanks in the back, of course, with the lots and lots of kills. Still SCVs had to be pulled. Now some mules have to be pulled here as well, and Maru's economy is suffering as he has dropped to 56 workers, and it looks like REYNOR hasn't finished yet. He's moving forward, but the tanks this time in a larger amount of number, 4 tanks of course should be able to secure the ramp here. REYNOR tries a different position. There are Hellbats on the ground. In comes the push. Might try to attack the tanks, and at the same time REYNOR nicely expanding all over the map. But hold on, actually Maru intercepting those units here as he's moving forward now with his medivacs and with his marines. So he might try to move those medivacs forward into the newly established bases here from REYNOR, but it would be quite risky as those tanks in the back would be pretty much exposed now. So REYNOR with a very dominant move here, but hold on, actually this is exactly what Maru is doing. He's moving out with his medivacs, leaving the expansion a little bit exposed. And let's see what those medivacs, they should of course be able to snap this expansion right here. They should even be able to force a comeback by REYNOR, and he's going straight for the hatchery, pretty much ignoring the drones, just straight going for that hatchery. And now REYNOR had to pull back with some units, so a little bit of mining time has been delayed here. Luckily here for REYNOR, he didn't lose any drones. And yeah, Maru just showing his presence, pretty much not allowing REYNOR to overcome here. REYNOR at 200 supply with 99 workers for him. So Maru just damaging the economy a little bit, as some long distance mining is happening here for REYNOR. And yeah, REYNOR, he might also try to add some banelings very soon for him. Banelings will of course be great to roll here forward, as in comes REYNOR once again with his units, snapping the gas once again, and at the same time just roaming around the map, so pretty much splitting his troops. He might try to attack on two different fronts, but Maru nicely creating a beeline of tanks here, giving great protection towards his expansions. At the same time, a Nidus Swarm could also be a nice option here for REYNOR into this location, perhaps into the production buildings from his opponent. Let's see what's going to happen as Maru once again prepares an attack, but I believe the REYNOR has scouted this, as he's already prepared with his units. At the same time, he's moving out with some units here. Let's see what's going to happen here, as even some vials have been casted, and Maru, sadly for him, losing some units here. Needs to be more careful, as REYNOR with great vision onto the map, having Zerglings all over the map and some changelings, and REYNOR still taking expansion after expansion, as he has so many workers, but Maru also very high on workers, 84 workers for him. And hold on, those vials might get some connections here, but Maru is pretty much going to bypass this. He's going to fly straight forward towards this location. There are some spine crawlers, there are some spores waiting here for him, as REYNOR should of course react into attacking and defending at the same time. So in comes the attack, but Maru has to pull out of course too much Zerg for him. In the meantime, we see Maru reacting with some forces. He's not going to allow REYNOR to expand all over the map. It would of course be a suicide for him. He might even take onto those units, but the banelings are here to get some good connections. So finally a good transition here by REYNOR into some banelings, and yeah, another expansion secured for REYNOR here. And yeah, let's see how things will unfold. Yeah, the defenses look very great here for Maru, and lots of command centers just in case some banelings are rolling here forward. But he really has to punish the massive expansion sets here for REYNOR. Just REYNOR taking all over the map, control of all over the map very soon, even transferring some drones into the newly established bases here just to gather more and more of those minerals. So pretty much depleting all of the minerals, as we have a small reaction by Maru with the medivacs and with those marines on the ground. So yeah, REYNOR with a very smart move, very nice economic and macro orientated game by him, and Maru might be lucky to snap this one. With just a small force of marines, he was able to take out the expansion here for REYNOR. So REYNOR needs to be a little bit more careful. It's just 3 marines with stim were able to take that one out. At the same time, in comes Maru. He's going to snap some eggs, and now going for the hatchery, but the banelings are here to roll forward, and sadly Maru not paying attention, as his marines have been taken out there. He might take this ledge to attack the economy, but we do have Vipers with parasitic bombs now, just dealing so much damage. And actually Maru deciding to drop into the main from REYNOR, only taking out 2 of the SCVs. In the end he's going to suicide one. Hold on, he's actually finding a great ledge here, but in the end the roaches will of course take care of this. In the meantime, he's trying of course to take control of this base, not allowing the Zerg to expand all over the map. Very much important, as REYNOR still did mine a little bit here. Maru wants to take control of this. At the same time, once again REYNOR is moving forward, this time with banelings, but the tanks are there to react and to deal damage versus the opponent. The expansion already taking quite some damage, burning here, and we do have indeed a transition into those ghosts, the much needed ghosts for the middle game and the late game with their sniping ability versus the strong units from the Zerg. So we might see the Zerg go for some Broodlords. We might see him go for some Ultra Risk as well, as he tries to attack here, but the Planetary Fortress and the tanks dealing so much damage. However, in come the Banelings now, getting some great connections, pretty much killing all of those SCVs there. So pretty nice stuff by REYNOR, killing 13 SCVs. Now dropping to 67 SCVs now, versus the already 86 for REYNOR. And yeah, REYNOR having so many bases. Very soon he's going to transfer all of the units towards the newly established bases. And there it is indeed, Ultra Risk is going to be the answer from REYNOR. So no Broodlords, at least no Broodlords yet for him, and a massive amount of Banelings for him. So REYNOR looking like he wants to finish the game very soon. He's going to pretty much roll over his opponent very soon. Let's see what location he's going to decide to attack. So quite a strong force by REYNOR, having so much of an economy here, already dealing some damage, and Maru not really paying attention, as the Banelings will of course take out so many of that bio from REYNOR. We are slowly but steadily closing towards the 20-minute mark. Still anyone's game of course, but REYNOR looking like he's more in control of the map and having more of those stronger units, even Vipers there. Viper of course to abduct the tanks. And yeah, here we go, in comes the attack forward with the Zerglings. EMPs however being used now against the Vipers. The Ultra Risk however make it here forward, a nice binding clouds. The tanks hold their ground, they're shooting of course as much as they can. The Banelings are now rolling forward against the tanks, and now even the Ghosts will be targeted, but Maru with some nice micro here. And luckily for him, he only lost 14 SCVs, it could have been much higher, as we do a transition into some Taurs now. It's going to be Mass Mech versus the Terran versus all of those Banelings on the ground, and the Ultra Risk, even some sniping going on now. Nice stuff here by Maru, showing us the strengths of the Ghosts into the late game. And in comes yet once an attack, but Maru holds his ground with his Taurs, with his tanks. Actually already 3 Taurs for him with Ghosts. And yeah, good map control once again. REYNOR looks like he's going to mass Banelings. He really wants to overroll actually his opponent with Banelings. And let's have a look if it's going to be successful here. Vipers also in the air, lots and lots of units once again. REYNOR be maxed out. Same can be said here however for Maru, as in comes yet once again an attack. The SCV is pretty much exposed here, but REYNOR really wanted to go for the main for his opponent. Yeah, Maru once again with the same tactics here, but the Banelings are rolling forward. Nice blinding clouds once again. They really want to get the connection towards the Ghost. Now changing the tactics here, going for the Ghost once again, and the SCVs, and 12 SCVs have fallen once again for Maru, but REYNOR also losing quite a large amount of his army. However, his economy will be able to replenish his forces very quickly, so it's very hard to attack here for REYNOR. This is what I told you, that Nidus Swarm would have been so much important for him to go for those production tabs. Just needs an Overseer here with the Nidus Swarm. He will be able to attack so much of the production buildings here from his opponent. So Maru with a great defense, the tanks looking very strong, the Taurs also dealing good damage, and he nicely spreaded those tanks, and even now having some Liberators. So great mech organization here by Maru versus his opponent, as once again REYNOR looks like he's going to commit here forward versus the newly established base, pretty much undefended. So Maru is very late into defending this one, as the Swarm continues here to roll forward for REYNOR, and the Banelings getting some good connections. So a little bit of a mistake here by Maru, leaving this one expansion unattended, but of course it's very hard to defend against so much Zerg all over the map, as Maru might try once again to move out. And we actually do see an Overseer here, so we might see a Nidus Swarm happening here very soon, as REYNOR is still taking more and more of those expansions. And indeed we do have a Nidus Swarm, so this Taur will very likely react. Let's see if REYNOR is pretty much going to commit here forward, as he's moving now forward with his units. At the same time, a larger attack happening here, but there's so many tanks, and it looks like Maru being ready to react for that. We do however once again Baneling rolling here forward. This time they will miss their target onto the SCVs, but they do take out the planetary fortress. So more and more is getting thrown out here versus Maru, as Maru loses yet another expansion. So he has lost 2 expansions here already. He has to rebuild those, and he also dropped 255 workers, so more damage against the economy here from Maru. It's such a hard game here for him, as so much map control for his opponent, for the Zerg, as so many bases are still mining for him. And let's see if Broodlords will be also a great addition for the Zerg, and he might try once again another swarm here as in comes the Overseer, but Maru should be ready for this. He should have some units very soon into this location. Let's see if the worm will continue, will finish here as another reaction here. It's a Tor ship by Maru. He really wants to cancel this worm, but it looks like just a fake move out here by REYNOR. Just to force us, of course, to bring Maru back here into the main, but the real action, of course, will happen very likely once again into this location and into the newly established base right here as in come the forces for REYNOR. Banelings with Ravagers with Ultralisk, and it looks like it's going to commit once again forward, but there's also many ghosts on the ground. They will be able to snipe all of the Ultralisk, and yeah, lots and lots of damage now being taken by REYNOR. So REYNOR with a failed attack here, Maru with a great defense, just patrolling his expansions with his units and just inflicting more and more damage towards the attacking units by REYNOR. So yeah, REYNOR transitioning to Broodlords, but the ghosts on the ground should be able to take out the Broodlords here as he is now moving forward, even with his spores, trying to gain more and more of control. Maru really wants to secure this expansion right here. This queen will very likely be taken out very soon. So yeah, in comes the attack by REYNOR with his units. Maru with a hard game, but the ghost should of course be able to take out the units here. However, Spore gives vision, and once again we do see 3 SCVs have fallen here. So REYNOR with a multitasking here, attacking all over the map. Very nice stuff by him, and REYNOR with a very much exposed expansion here into this location as in comes the attack. Even some Broodwars attacking the stones will be able to spawn here and attack the SCVs, and the tanks will actually be able to deal splash damage towards their own units. So very smart move by REYNOR, attacking the rocks here with the Broodlords and just spawning more and more Broodlings on the ground as yeah, 16 more SCVs have fallen. So Maru of course tried to expand. Perhaps this location would have been better as REYNOR was ready with the Broodlords, and very hard. We might even see some fungus here. EMP shockwaves go out. This Tor will very likely be taken out very soon as more and more Broodlings will be spawned here. And yeah, SCVs once again pretty much exposed. So many Broodlings getting spawned. 23 SCVs have fallen, and it looks like this expansion is pretty much going to get abandoned here by Maru. So very hard game for him indeed, as the Broodlings are still onto the ground, still dealing more damage, and Maru pretty much has abandoned the location. He's now moving forward towards the newly established bases. He has lost so many SCVs. He knows he has to react, so he's quickly moving forward. The Broodlings are of course not as quick as the Terran army on the ground. He's now sniping expansion after expansion, and there's the reaction from REYNOR. He's very slow. He might also try to counter-attack this expansion point right here. So Maru with a great move out, already killing 2 expansions. The third expansion might also fall very soon, so very smart move here by Maru. We have very likely went into a base trade scenario as in come the Banelings, but Maru nicely uplifting the base, and the Broodlords of course very slow. They might get sniped out of the ghost, so Maru with a great move, taking out 3 newly established bases from REYNOR, and we might see a flank happening here very soon. Tors are ready to deal damage, and the Broodlings are very slow as REYNOR needs to be careful not to lose those Broodlings. Very important unit indeed. And yeah, Maru with all of a sudden a great control. He might even take this expansion once again. Let's see what his decision is going to be. Quite a scary move. It's quite a scary army with so much mech for him. Hellbats on the ground with lots and lots of units as scans do go out, and the ghosts will be very likely ready to snipe the Broodlings in the air. So Banning City is going to be once again here for REYNOR. Still has a strong economy. There's once again a Night Swarm and a nuke actually getting spawned here by Maru. So Maru with a nuclear launch versus all of the units here from his opponent. We do see the Banelings roll forward with the SCVs. Yeah, but all of those Banelings actually getting intercepted, so a great move by Maru. Nice flank by him, taking out so many Banelings as the Tor is now fighting for his life. He might get picked up. So very smart reaction, very smart micro here by REYNOR. But yeah, REYNOR, interesting enough, just decided to expand once again into the location as REYNOR pretty much attacking all over the fronts, and this time Maru really wants to secure this newly established base here into this location. So much better location for the Terran to expand as he's very likely going to bring his forces forward. There's so much Zerg here, so many Broodlings, so much damage being taken here by Maru, and Maru once again cancelling 2 expansions, but he has to now come back home to defend versus the Broodlords in the air. And yes, still he might stay here, he might commit forward with his mech units, with his Tors, with his Hellbats and even tanks. So a very scary late game Terran army. 161 supply of an army here for Maru. Notice that he only has 38 workers, but that's okay for him. When it would come into down to a base trade scenario, he will have the upper hand with the 161 supply versus the 147. So very smart late game by both players, pretty much sacrificing the drones and the SCVs to go for more of a supply of an army here. And if it will go down to a base trade scenario, like I told you, Maru should of course have the upper hand with so many ghosts, so many Tors as well. Very scary, as you might even see some mind control happening here from his opponent. And let's see if REYNOR will finally commit here with his Night Swarm. Maru pretty much ignoring this Night Swarm. Let's see if some units will work out here for him, as we do see some Tor ships here, and yeah, no units into the Night Swarm, as actually he's bringing back his Medivacs just in case there would have been a move out. So smart and fast reaction here for Maru, as the worm will be taken out, and REYNOR of course staying into this position, pretty much having so many Broodlords in the air. So also a very scary army here for REYNOR. 151 supply versus his opponent. We do have the Tor ships just patrolling here, as we have a small stalemate. So very defensive gameplay all of a sudden here by REYNOR. REYNOR losing the newly established base, Maru pretty much taking control of it very soon, as he's leaving his main armies into this location just to defend this base and this base right here. The same reaction can be said here for REYNOR, as he's having those Broodlords here into this location, and also having expansions pretty much exposed all over the map, leaving some small units here to defend. And we actually see a nuke happening here into a very interesting position here by Maru. I believe he's slowly but steadily going to try to move forward with nukes just to snap the eggs on the ground, and maybe one nuke is going to be lucky to take out a huge of a supply from his opponent. Let's see if this is going to be indeed the case, as we close in towards the 30-minute mark. So still anyone's game. Very nice macro game we have here indeed. Who is going to be the victor of this game? A large battle is going to happen very soon, as it looks like REYNOR is pretty much going to commit here forward, but the ghosts are in position to react with EMP shockwaves, with sniping going on. So it's going to be very hard here for REYNOR to move out against his opponent. And yeah, Maru all of a sudden with a good economy for him. Not that many workers for him, but the same can be said for his opponent. So both players just pretty much waiting here, just pretty much slowly patrolling their newly established bases, as Maru looks like he's going to change the position slowly. He might try to take out this expansion and this one right here, even this one as well. So this will force of course a reaction as well from REYNOR. So they might swap expansions now, as in comes the push forward by Maru with his units taking out the newly established base. REYNOR immediately reacting, going straight forward for the planetary fortress here. So let's see the reaction. We do have ghosts on the ground. There is EMP shockwaves happening here, and the sniping will happen very soon. The Broodlings however reacting very nice. We even have abducts and blinding clouds onto the ghosts here. So a good reaction here by REYNOR, as he's able to take out so many ghosts of his opponent, and at the same time taking out the expansion here. So there was vision here for REYNOR with the overseers. However, Maru just pretty much pushing here forward, deciding to sacrifice some of the snipers on the ground, and he's taking out expansion after expansion once again versus his opponent. So REYNOR losing some expansions, Maru also losing his expansion in the upper left part. But in the end I believe it was a good trade overall. We do still have the same amount of units for both players, as 10 more drones have been taken out for REYNOR. So let's see how this game is. Indeed a very interesting late game we have here indeed in between the two pro players. Who is going to be the victor of this game? Some lurkers have actually been added here, so lurkers of course pretty good versus the bio from his opponent. And some zerglings getting thrown out here, but they pretty much will be sacrificed very soon. So yeah, Maru once again deciding to come back with his units to patrol the upper left part, just to have vision against his opponent. And in the nearby there is REYNOR now moving to the lower right part of the map, so he might try to attack here into this location. Let's see what exactly the plans from REYNOR are here. Now he's actually going to secure his expansion right here, as this one is also getting pretty much depleted, and he might just move his units, his drones, towards the newly established base right here. Even an infestor has been thrown. Also some fungals would be a great addition here for him versus his opponent. Fungal is actually very strong versus the ghosts, and even against the Taurs and the Hellbats on the ground, so still a scary army from Maru. 165 versus 165. Very balanced game, but who's going to be the victor? There is vision for REYNOR with Overseers, so the Broodlings are of course great versus the ground units, and even some lurkers have been added now with infestors. Maru having so many Taurs, tanks, Hellbats, very good versus his opponent. Some Zerglings are here. It looks like Maru is going to slowly but steadily move forward, and let's not forget those ghosts, the important ghosts in the back. Or is he transitioning to mass Taurs versus his opponent? Taurs of course attacking ground and air. Let's see, he is moving forward, snapping egg after egg, and now even going for the hatchery. So slowly but steadily snapping building after building. Not that much of a mobile unit here from Maru. I don't see any ghosts now into his oh, there they are. So Maru smartly splitting his units, waiting to flank the opponent's units with the ghosts. And yeah, the slowly moving Broodlords in the air for REYNOR, as once again we have a small stalemate. Both players really want to secure their newly established bases, this one right here and this one here, with this into this location. So when exactly will they decide to move out to attack? We're about to find out very soon, as this base is still producing nicely here for REYNOR, who is going to be the victor of a very interesting late game. A very nice macro game indeed we have here in between the two pro players. Let's see who is going to target first, who is going to move out first. It looks like Maru with his strong force could have the upper hand versus the buildings here from REYNOR. He might even try to snipe building after building in order to win the game, and also use the ghosts versus the broodlings in the air. Maybe a lucky nuke would also be very nice for him, but there's so much vision for his opponent. So we're closing in towards the end game of this game. Crazy game indeed, and a waiting game now all of a sudden for both players, as we see a transition into some Zerglings, into some lurkers for REYNOR, some banelings also. So lurkers of course to counter the ghosts on the ground, even the Taurs. So lurkers on the ground very strong, as slowly but steadily the two armies are closing by, and REYNOR even taking yet another expansion here. So every mineral now is very much important, and we see some scans going out as the main force from the Terran is now moving towards the middle of the map. So very soon we might see the strong engagement here. We might even see a flank by REYNOR happening with some Broodlords. Even some Fungus would be very interesting to see. So yeah, very tense game. Still anyone's game of course. Pretty much the same army supply and maxed out upgrades for both players, as it looks like Maru really wanting to finish the game to go. I believe he just pretty much scanned all of the area here just to see how many buildings are still alive. Remember in StarCraft, actually if you kill all the buildings from your opponent, you are winning the match. So you don't have to kill the army, you can pretty much kill all of the buildings and you will win the match. As REYNOR is doing exactly that, just trying to snipe building after building, trying to inflict damage, as in comes Maru to defend here. And we might see an engagement here, the ghosts with a nuke. There should be vision very soon, but this is actually perhaps a nice move here by Maru, trying to just do a trap versus REYNOR. I saw so many liberation zones on the ground, so slowly but steadily now Maru pretty much looking like he's going to commit here forward, scanning the area, leaving those Broodlords nice abduct here, and sniping will go on very soon, as Maru actually losing some units here. And yeah, It's very, very tense indeed. Who is going to be the victor here? Who is going to move forward? If one nuke will land here for Maru, it will be very, very lucky. But there are so many overseers to have vision here. And even spores will, of course, also give vision here. As we even have a dancing toward into this location. The tanks now get some connections against the spores. As REYNOR has to uplift and move back. More and more spores are getting created. And the nuke now once again getting launched by Maru, as some units will take some damage in case REYNOR is not reacting. So very nice game indeed we have here, as REYNOR slowly but steadily is pushing here forward with the nuke, as he very likely be soon in range of the hatchery here from REYNOR. And the other liberators with the tanks on the ground giving great vision and great stuff here. But we do very likely see a reaction here by REYNOR. He's going to very likely try to attack with the broodlings very soon into the tanks location. The EMPs go out here, and a nice move here forward by REYNOR, dealing so much damage against the Hellbats in the front. A great fungal once again being used. Not lots and lots of damage. The Hellbats take quite some damage, and he will react very soon with the ghosts versus the units. But those broodlings are really annoying versus the tanks and all of the ground units here from REYNOR. Still quite a large unit composition still being left alive here for REYNOR, as he's able to push Maru back. Maru taking quite some damage out of those broodlords, and the snipers weren't there to get some connections against them. So very hard game indeed for Maru versus 24 broodlings here into the air. Hold on, we actually see him move out now forward, but there's even vipers with blinding clouds, so let's see what's going to happen. Liberation zones once again happening here, but perhaps the liberators would be better to attack versus the air units, as we have some Zerglings actually move here forward versus Maru. So quite a surprise move by him to see a nuke once again happening here, but his main production buildings will be attacked very soon by some Zerglings, as Maru has now dropped to 178 of supply. His army also dropping here. A great nuke by him, catching actually some broodlings. So REYNOR with a little bit of a small reaction, as Maru is just slowly but steadily pushing here forward. We have some great parasitic bombs and great fungus happening here. Even the broodlings once again getting some great connections versus the Hellbats on the ground. And yeah, let's see what's going to happen here, as more and more damage is being taken by the army from Maru. Is pretty much going to have to rebuild all of those units very soon. And still anyone's game here, of course, but a little bit of more of a supply here for REYNOR. It's very soon he's closing in towards a army from 200 supply. But yeah, the mech army also looking very scary for Maru, as the Zergs are producing more and more of the broodlings and healing more up with the queens. Perhaps an advantage here for REYNOR, as he's able to heal up his units and those broodlings on the ground, giving of course more army for him. Yeah, broodlings, very strong unit indeed, as more and more are getting spawned, and the nuke will fall very soon versus the units from his opponent. And the eggs also getting sniped here, and this actually looks like REYNOR is pretty much going to commit once again. Fungal on the tanks, he's moving back and forward, nicely kiting his units, trying to find a good position on the high ground. One Tor pretty much exposed, he's getting abducted and killed very soon. So in come the liberators with the liberation zones. Tanks are moving forward, ghosts are also here as well, but REYNOR nicely waiting here, having the high ground, being able to snipe Hellion after Hellion. So nice stuff, even a great fungal against the ghosts. So many broodlings on the ground, really hard here for Maru to react. He's actually fighting broodlings on the ground, losing more and more of their supply, but at the same time reproducing really fast. And nice macro back and forward here by the broodlings, as more and more damage is being taken here by Maru. And sadly for him, like I told you, he's pretty much fighting the broodlings on the ground, while REYNOR just smartly out-micro him here on the high ground with the broodlords in the air. Even blinding clouds have been casted, but hold on, this expansion might fall very soon. And another nuke has fallen here. Could have been a lucky nuke versus REYNOR. And yeah, REYNOR just smartly coming back, healing his units with the queens. And let's see how things will unfold, as once again he might try to fungal the units from his opponent. Liberation zones, but like I told you, those liberators would actually be much more better to attack the air units from REYNOR. But of course Maru knows pretty much exactly what he is doing, as both players once again pretty much maxed out maxed out of a supply. The Liberators, if you ask me, they would be better onto the air. We even have some Corruptors now in the air, as slowly but steadily Maru tries to push here forward. Reynor with the same tactics, kiting those Broodlings back and forward, trying to find a good position. Liberators once again, tanks in the back, Taurs in the back here as well, as the launching Broodlings will also happen here. Fungals once again, a great fungal being casted here. Now Broodlings on the ground once again. Reynor with a great reaction. Nice EMPs by Maru, however, and now once again an army, a huge wave of locusts on the ground here for Reynor, as more and more damage is being taken here by the Terran army. Once again a good fungal. The Taurs are fighting really nicely, but more and more damage is being taken here by Maru once again, as he's very hardly fighting those units, those Broodlings on the ground. In comes the attack once again. Great launch from the Broodlings. More and more damage is being actually taken as the Terran army tries, of course, its best. And now in come the Ghosts. The Ghosts will be able to snap so many Broodlings here. And nice stuff here by Maru happening here with the snipers on the ground, dealing more and more damage. And now the Taurs should fight, of course, the Broodlings in the air. More and more damage is being taken here left and right, but still so many Broodlings are being left alive on the ground. And Broodlords in the air are also being left alive, being taken as Taur after Taur. Sadly here for Maru is falling. So great engagement in the end by Reynor, as so many Broodlords have been able to be left alive. And in the end, after all of the damage has been done, Maru dropping to 80 supply versus 117. So great engagement here for Reynor once again. Sadly here for the Terran, he has fought very well, but too many Broodlings on the ground. So a little bit of an imbalanced gameplay, as the supply of the army was pretty much the same, but the Broodlords, of course, being able to create more and more units there. They are flying here in the air and launching them versus the ground units from the Terran. So the Terran, sadly for him, just pretty much fought those Broodlings with 30 HP. So let's see, Maru still into this game. He might be lucky with a nuke, he might be lucky with sniping the Broodlings, but we still have a interesting transition here into mass Zerglings. Or Reynor, perhaps he just wants to roll forward towards the production buildings from his opponent. And yeah, things have settled down a little bit, but we might actually see both players replenishing the army. 110 supply versus 134. What is going to happen here? As still so many Taurs we have here, and Hellbat's actually very great versus the Broodlings on the ground. Like I told you, a little bit imbalanced, given the fact that the Terran army actually attacks those units on the ground, the Broodlings. And yeah, let's see what's going to happen here, as Vipers pretty much depleting the HP from their opponents. So Abduct once again is going to be the option here for Reynor. Fungals might also be, even Mind Control could also be used versus the Taurs. And yeah, the Terran army once again on the move out. Not that many tanks, actually no tanks being left alive here, just pretty much Taurs with Hellbats, as slowly but steadily he's moving forward. But we have great abducts happening in here, and the Broodlings immediately punishing those two Taurs. Maru reacting with some spaceships, but now in comes the Fungus. Great Fungus being casted left and right. EMP reaction immediately, but now in come the Zerglings flanking all of those units, and this will of course once again give the opportunity for those Broodlings to deal more and more damage. So of course the Zerglings have been killed, but however now the Broodlings pretty much exposed against so many sniping, even this one Taur dealing damage towards the Broodlords in the air. So all of a sudden a great position here for Maru, as he's still sniping Broodlord after Broodlord. So nice stuff here by him, as so many units have fallen here for Reynor. All of a sudden, this time a much better engagement here from the Terran, as what has started really well for the Zerg has turned out into a much better engagement here. So many Broodlords are really low EMP, great EMP versus the units on the ground, and Maru all of a sudden having more supply versus his opponent. Just pretty much Broodlords being left here, and those snipers will be able to take them out very soon. We even have some fish here flying around. So yeah, let's see, Reynor, Maru pretty much moving now forward towards the newly established base. So what a great engagement. The second battle was here for Maru, having a better position, and in the end looks like he's even going to commit here forward, and actually Reynor deciding to GG out here. So the second battle much better here for Maru into this ledge right here, not having the high ground. The Broodlords didn't really have the high ground there, as the EMPs were also very strong for Maru versus Reynor. So what a crazy game. What has started to be a good game for Reynor has turned out into a second much better engagement here for Maru. What a great game indeed we have in the air. So yeah, very, very hard game to cast indeed. Well, nice back and forward game. I was pretty much sure that REYNOR had the game secured with those Broodwars, but in the end the snipers took them out. The Hellbats on the ground took care of the Broodlings, and yeah, in the end the Thors were of course the great addition here for Maru. Thors, of course, a very strong unit on the ground and in the air, and the Ghosts once again proving to be way, way too strong for REYNOR. REYNOR with some great fungals, great mind control indeed. The Vipers also very, very strong into Abduct, and what I was thinking there was a imbalancement with the Broodlings on the ground turned out to be a great game here for Maru, as he took this one a 43-minute, almost 44-minute game. What a crazy, crazy macro game indeed. So yeah, I hope you guys once again enjoyed. This is Tommy signing out.